Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Intentional Excellence Podcast. This is your host, Charles Max Wood, and this week I'm going to be talking about just making my family a priority. It's been kind of an interesting and weird week, and I'm just going to go into some of the stuff that has happened this week and talk about my family and talk about some of the things that I've been focused on lately. You may also notice that I've changed the theme music on this podcast. I've been getting complaints about the other music. I guess it's a matter of taste. And so I went out and I just looked around to see what I could find. And this one kind of leapt out at me as a good one for this podcast. So if you like the music, let me know. And anyway, we'll just get on with the show here. Saturday... it all kind of goes back to Saturday and then it moves forward from there. But on Saturday we set up an inflatable pool for the kids. We got it last year, and you know it if it's full, it comes up maybe to my knees. And so anyway, we set it up in the backyards and we let the kids play in it on Saturday and Monday and Tuesday. I actually got in on Monday and sat with the kids, and it was a pretty miserable experience, but anyway, the kids, it was really funny because they really got a kick out of not just being in the pool, but being outside with my wife and I, and having time spent with the family and playing with each other. And some of the neighbor kids came and got in, and so they got to play with them as well. And it was really a lot of fun. It really just kind of struck home to me that even though I wasn't really participating, in fact, I tried to sleep through part of it on Saturday. It was just, my kids were not just happy to be out in the pool, but they really kept, getting our attention, my attention, my wife's attention, and, see this, look what we're doing, and, playing with all the little toys that we let them play with in the pool. And, anyway, it was really a lot of fun. And then Monday, my 4-year-old, I told her I was going to take her on a date, and so we went and saw Cars 2 at the theater. And so we went to the theater, and, we got the tickets and got some treats, and oh man, we didn't even make it out of the driveway before she was telling me, "Daddy, I love this date." And so we get to the theater, and we got all the stuff, and we were going in, and sorry, I got a little itch on my nose. Anyway, so I gave her the tickets. I said, "Here, hold these." And then when we went in, she gave them to the ticket taker, and she thought she was a big kid, and felt important and things like that. And it really just it was really funny too, because during the movie, she actually, about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through, she was kind of done watching the movie, and so she just laid on me. It was funny because the theater has those arms that fold up. You can pull them up, and then you can sit next to each other without an armrest in between you. And so we just pushed that up, and then she just kind of laid on me the whole time and played with the tickets because she still had the ticket stubs, which I thought was just hilarious. But the movie was okay. But I could tell that she just loved being there for a couple hours with me, without the other kids, trying to get my attention, without having to work and things like that. In fact, I was listening to Cliff Ravenscraft over at gspn.tv, and he mentioned that he's been trying not to tell his kids, "Okay, go ahead and get out of here because I got to work." And so I've been trying really hard not to make work the priority. And so when my kids come in here, I'll talk to them for a few minutes, and then if I do need to get back to work, then I'll do what I can to make it work. But anyway, it's just been amazing to me that the ability to make family a priority and what that's meant to my kids. I think my 4-year-old really kind of took that to heart, and she's been pretty good this week. A little bit better behaved and seems a little happier. My 2-year-old also, I took her to McDonald's on Tuesday and made her day. And well, I took her because she decided that she was done wearing diapers, that she wanted to go potty and like a big kid, and so we switched her to pull-ups, and I told her that if she went potty 10 times that I'd take her to McDonald's. Well, that took her like 3 days. And so I took her to McDonald's, and oh man, she was in heaven. She thought it was terrific. And it really just drives home to me the point that, you know, if the time is important, and, you know, you can spend time doing all the other things, you know, and it is important that I work, and it's important that I spend some of the time that I have doing the things that I spend it on. But, you know, like doing the podcasts and stuff, because it drives business my way. However, it's interesting to me that at the same time, you know, this time with my family, this time with my kids is just, it's so important. It's so valuable. And there's really no way around, you know, the experience that they're having. The other thing that I learned was just, you know, letting my kids kind of push beyond what I think they're necessarily ready for or capable of. So, for example, with my 2-year-old, she decided she was done wearing diapers, and we weren't sure that she was actually ready to be potty trained. And my wife's 7 months pregnant, so she's not exactly thrilled to have to get up every half hour or hour, you know, and make sure that my 2-year-old is still dry and, you know, doing her thing. But anyway, she decided she was done wearing diapers, and so we let her try and, you know, potty train, you know, even though it wasn't convenient, and we weren't sure that she was ready, because my other 2 kids, there was just no way until they were at least 3 or 3.5. So it's actually gone really well. She's only had one accident other than naps and you know, when she goes to bed, and she's doing really, really well. And it's amazing too that, you know, you give them the chance to explore and grow and make them feel like they have some responsibility. I mean, even if it's just giving them the tickets and let them take it to the ticket taker, like I did with my 4-year-old. You know, it's important to them that they feel like they can do these things, that they can be involved, and that they can interact with the world in whatever way. And even if you don't think they're ready, as in the case of my 2-year-old, that you actually go ahead and just let them go and let them try. And I mean, it would have been like, you know, 2 days worth of minor mess to clean up if she had completely failed at potty training, but she didn't. And it's just been so fun to watch her get excited about it and just do it. One other thing that's gone on is that my wife, being 7 months pregnant, she has a bad back, and toward the end of her pregnancies, all of them, she's had problems with pain in her hips, and so it's really painful for her to get up and walk around. It also drains a lot of her energy, and so she doesn't feel well enough to actually go and do some of the things around the house that she normally would. And so I've had to pick up a lot of the slack. And even a few minutes spent on a task that saves her the trouble of having to get up and go do something, it to her is just it's a big deal. It's a major thing. And it just really drives home to me too the point that, I mean, spending time with your kids is a pretty minor thing. I mean, the only thing you're giving up is time, you know, and spending a few minutes making dinner or cleaning up a room in the house or things like that. It's a pretty minor thing. I mean, you're just giving up time, maybe a little effort, but to the people that you're serving, it can be a major deal. And you can really make a difference for them and help them realize how important they are to you. And I think that's really the whole point behind a lot of this. And I firmly believe if you're not religious, or, you know, maybe you're not Christian or not Mormon, you know, you may not believe exactly as I do, but, you know, I firmly believe that God sent us families so that we could learn these things, so that we could grow in ways that we never would just taking care of ourselves, and so that we could find the true joy that we get from being around people that we love. And I don't think it's just so, you know, that God designed us this way so that we would gain fulfillment from loving people, but I think it's inherent in our nature as His children that love brings us joy. and he understood that, and that's why he instituted things the way that he did, so that we could learn to love our families and grow in that way. And I really, really just hope that people can find that desire, and that the importance of making sacrifices for their families. And to be honest, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. Every once in a while, it feels like I didn't get something else done that I felt like I needed to do, but generally, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice at all. So that's a lot of what's been going on here. One other thing that I wanted to talk about too is that I was listening to the No More Mondays podcast, and that's done by my business coach Justin Lucas Savage and Andy Traub, who's another person out there in the community, and I've corresponded with him a couple of times. But and he helps people with technology in their business. Anyway, which I don't necessarily need help with. I'm plenty tech savvy. Anyway, so I was listening to their podcast, and they were talking about unplugging, and it really sunk in with me. I mean, I have so many things that I'm trying to be involved in, and so many places that I'm trying to be, and I can't do them all. And so it really helped me realize that I need to just say no to a lot of these things. And then once I've figured out where I want to be and what I want to be involved in, then I can start saying yes to the things that are the most important and make those a priority. And, family's right there at the top of the list. And then after that, there are some things related to my business. And that's usually where the overwhelm comes in, is there are a lot of things related to my business that I could be doing, and I'm not. And I really hope that I can figure out, which things to say yes to and which things to say no to. And I've also figured out, too, that I don't necessarily need to be saying no to all leisure activities. So, for example, I've recently started watching Stargate SG-1. And, I mean, if you want a show that has, 0 point as far as, practical reasons for watching it, Stargate SG-1 is one of them. I mean, they don't get into real science or anything. It's a fantasy. It basically, to me anyway, it's a fantasy. It's this fantasy show with technological highlights. And anyway, I just really enjoy it. I enjoy watching the characters and watching they go and they explore different worlds that have different races and historical, races and stuff. But even then, the historical references are really, really slim and a little bit contrived in a lot of cases. So anyway, it's fascinating to me that, you have these leisure activities that you can participate in, and, just what a difference it makes to be able to just sit down, unplug, unwind, get whatever it is done that you need to, and, ultimately, make your life a little bit better. I mean, even if it's pointless, and even for 45 minutes, it makes a huge difference for me just to be able to sit back and relax. And as long as I don't take it to the extreme where that's all I'm doing, then it's fine. The other thing that I've really been spending a lot of time working on is just getting some other revenue streams out there for my business. And so I've actually created a Ruby on Rails course. It's a summer class. It costs $497 for 8 weeks. And I've settled on the price and everything for 8 weeks. And it includes video and written content, as well as, help from me whenever you need it, and a webinar in one night a week, every week. Just answering questions that people have. And hopefully that will open things up for people so that they can begin to get a better idea of what's involved in Ruby on Rails. So I'm going to take kind of a hands-on approach with it, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. And I did some coaching with a guy last night for about an hour, and it was really kind of cool because I really got to see where people come from when they don't have exposure to the kinds of things that I do and are learning Ruby on Rails for the first time. So that's definitely going to color the direction that I take with a lot of this stuff, and we'll just see where it goes from there. So anyway, that's one thing. And then the other thing is I'm going to be opening up a membership site. And I'm going to be talking about just in-depth stuff related to Ruby and Rails, and, see where that goes. And it really is going to open up the opportunity for me to explore some of the technologies that are related to Ruby and Rails that I don't usually get to attack. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see what's involved there. And, hopefully, I don't think anyone in this audience is necessarily interested unless you found this through one of the other programming podcasts. But in any case, I'm really excited to see where all of this goes and see if it can free up some time for me so that I can spend a little bit more time with my family. And that's really about all I've got on this podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. If you want to connect with me, if you have thoughts or ideas on anything that I've talked about, go ahead and go to intentionalexcellencepodcast.com and leave a comment. You can also email me, chuck@teachmetocode.com, or you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/cmaxw. This is more of kind of a personal video blog kind of thing. So if you want to connect with me on Facebook, you can as well. That's facebook.com/CharlesMaxWood. And I'm really excited to be able to meet some of the people that are listening to this and see what your thoughts are. So again, if you have any thoughts, go ahead and leave a comment. You can also leave a review for this podcast on iTunes. And beyond that, I'll catch you next week, and we'll see what's going on then. Thanks.